This is your wrestling show, Ottawa.
Heck, they could use you guys over in WWE.
You're listening to the greatest wrestling show in the whole wide world.
This is Wrestling with Ideas.
UFC's Demetrious Johnson. Thank you, Baldy. Appreciate that. How's everybody doing tonight? Today. Sorry, I've been on the plane. Does that sound good? Alright, so as you guys know, my name is Demetrious Johnson, UFC Flyweight champion of the world, the longest reigning champion in UFC. And I'm here to answer any question you guys have. The floor is open for whatever question you want, whether it's about love, dating, gaming, fighting, working out. Ask me away. Who's got the first question? Don't be shy. There you go. Break the ice.
Wearing my shirt.
Like that shirt.
I'm a little nervous. Never asked a celebrity question before, but slam bar. How did the slam bar come about? And was that just like spur of the moment, or did you play the UFC video game to figure that out?
That's a good question. We just did actual hour seminar working on that whole concept of it. It's a combination of wrestling and jiu-jitsu together. At the time, I've been doing that move since the beginning of my career, I guess you could say, and it was just a perfect time for a perfect event. I had Rayborg's back, and he wasn't going to go down easily, so I had to pull some out of my toolbox and just threw him in the air and threw him between my legs and armbarred him. I mean, there's a little more to that, but it's kind of hard to dive down into it. I mean, I know Seacoff, he was there, he got to experience it, a lot of the people who are in the mixed martial arts community. So hit up the mixed martial arts club and they'll walk you through the whole thing.
And when are you going to fight Dillashaw?
Man, look at this man. Look at this man. Go right here, just throw it right in my face. It's going to happen. It takes time. It's almost like, hey, he's a nice person. Watch your mouth. At the end of the day, it's just almost like the Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, right? Everybody was like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And Mayweather was like, when the time is right, when the stars are aligned, everything will happen. Like, literally, I'm like, next weekend I have Sergio Pettis who's fighting. He's going to be on a 5-fight win streak, and he's literally the #1 contender in the flyweight division. And one of my favorite boxers, Anthony Joshua, I don't know how many of you guys know of him. Everybody wants to see, what's the fight you guys want to see him fight? Okay. Fury. Oh. well, Fury's not even active technically. Everyone wants to see him fight Deontay Wilder. And like for me, yes, I would love to see that fight, but as a champion, he has obligations. And after his last fight, he beat a guy that I never even heard of. And he goes, you know what? As a champion, I have obligations. I worked my whole entire life to get to this point in my career to where as a champion in boxing, you are obligated to fight the #1 contender, not over, money or anything like that. He fought a dude nobody even knew of. And he goes, once I have fulfilled all these obligations, then I'll open myself up for this big fight with Deontay Wilder. So that's kind of how I am. Once the stars align, me and TJ will fight, whether it's at 35 or 125. But right now, I'm more focused on my division because I'm not about to hold up my division to go do a one offer. So,
all right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Who's got the next question?
I was actually going to kind of ask you about fighting TJ at 125 versus 135 and what your thought process is, because in my mind, like, if he comes down, he's obviously going to deplete himself a bit to get to your division, and you want to keep fighting in your division, but in my mind, it would be more beneficial for you to go up to 135, because then you're if you beat him, then you're one of the 5 people who would ever have belts in 2 weight classes. You'd really cement your place in the all-time greats like GSP just did when he came back and sealed the 2nd belt. So the reason why some people think GSP is like the best ever is because he had the long win streak like you do, and he also got the belt in the 2nd weight class. So I mean, beating TJ at 125 would be a great accomplishment, but I think you could do it at 135 because you're the greatest right now. Yeah,
thank you for that question. Honestly, I haven't really thought too much step into it. That's going to be all up to my management team and my team and whatnot. And I totally agree with you. Like if I was to beat TJ at 125, it would just be like me beating Sergio Pettis or another 125 or so. I think it comes a point in time in somebody's career, or if you ask me, do you care about being a 2-weight champion? I can give a damn. I just truly don't care. That's just the person I am. I'm not a very type of, I'm the baddest man on the planet. I just want to pay my bills and have a good life. That's all I really want to do. And on that life, if I can entertain people with my skill set in mixed martial arts, then so be it. So for me, we'll see what happens. And when the time comes, we'll figure it out. I mean, that's all. And that's the thing. People ask that question, when's the fight going to happen? There's so many logistics that go into it. Like, is he going to come down? If I win, do I get his belt? Or am I going to go up? If I win, I get a belt. How much money? You know what? I even thought about dude, let's do let's fight at 130 pounds, and let's have the UFC make a belt that they've never made before. Like, let's make like a money belt. Like, let's seriously, like, I already got 11 belts. Me having your belt makes no difference from the 11 I already have. They all look the fucking the same. So, you know, let's make something special of this. So, I mean, there's so many things that we can make happen. Good question. Who's next? Oh, here, Sean.
Yes, sir.
This is a very odd question, but preference-wise, are you boxers, briefs, Colgate Crest?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I wear boxer briefs. I'm a nudist. I walk around the house naked at night. And when it comes to toothpaste, I like 3D Crest Light. And I floss my teeth after I brush my teeth, too.
Once?
You know what? Here's a funny story. I went to the dentist, and I hate the damn dentist, okay? When you become an adult, you have kids, you forget about taking care of yourself. So I went to the dentist, and she goes, oh my God, you have so many cavities. I was like, which? But I brush my teeth every single damn day. And she goes, okay, Mr. Johnson, walk me through your daily preparation. I'm like, I wake up, brush my teeth, like I said. I go downstairs, have a bowl of cereal, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And then I go about my day. She goes, so your teeth are literally clean for like 15 minutes out of the day. And I'm like, bitch. So now I brush my teeth in the morning. No, I don't brush my teeth in the morning. I wake up, have breakfast, brush my teeth, floss, Listerine, go about my life, then at night. Thank you. Good question. Come on up, don't be shy. State your name. What are you studying in?
I don't go here. I'm here to see you.
Who let him through the door?
I was going to ask you, do you have any plans to go on the Joe Rogan podcast in the future? And do you have any Joe Rogan stories for us?
Yeah. So I've already been on there once. I do plan on going back. He doesn't even go to college here. You guys let him in? I do plan on going back on Joe Rogan's podcast. Once again, it's a bunch of logistics. I can't just walk down the street and jump on his podcast. I got to book a flight to Santa Monica, pay for a hotel, get a driver to take me there, get back. So there's a lot more that goes into it. But I do want to go back on there. Joe Rogan stories. I mean, what can you say? I mean, he's just a crazy guy. I mean, he's very energetic. He's down to earth, very respectful human being. Yeah, I mean, there's no really close. He's just a cool guy, man. There's just no other stories I can say. That's it. Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, won't you apply here and enroll in the school? Come on up. Step 4. After we get him, then we'll get you. Rookie.
Pettis and Cejudo fighting soon, right?
Next Saturday.
Yeah. I know that there's the TJ fight. If let's say Pettis wins like in a spectacular fashion, would you take that fight over it? And which one would you actually be more excited about? Either the Pettis fight or the TJ fight?
Both. Why would I not be excited to fight Sergio Pettis?
He's got a name, so...
Well, it's not the name, it's his skill set. His skill set's actually good. I mean, he's on a 5-fight win streak just because... What is a champion?
Yeah, who fights number 1 contenders?
So here's the question. This is going to be hilarious, okay? Did anybody watch the MMA Muhammad Ali Act hearing? Anybody watch that? Yeah. You watched it? Okay. Hilarious. This guy ate Mark Radner up for breakfast. Ate him up. Because he goes... Okay, the problem with mixed martial arts is our ranking system is shit. It's garbage, right? Essentially it is. Because how can a guy who hasn't fought in 4 years come back and get an immediate title shot?
in a division that he doesn't fight in.
And the division never fought in. It makes absolutely not one bit of damn sense when it comes to rankings whatsoever. So the merit, if you want to try to keep a ranking system, there has to be some type of, embodiment, someone who's going to hold it in place. And I guess you can say I'm that type of dude. So when people are like, oh, well, Ray Borg doesn't deserve the title shot, I'm like, how does he not? He's on a 2-fight win streak, the same as TJ Dillashaw. Just because he's a former champion, it doesn't matter to me. And technically, you're given, like the guy said, he's not the best fighter in the world. You're giving him, he's the best fighter of that night. Because next thing you know, he's going to fight, number ranked 8 guy in the world. So, but I'll be excited for both fights. I think they're both great fights for myself. And we'll see what happens. You're welcome. Come on. Nice leather jacket.
Thanks, man. I was just wondering, in the Ray Borg fight at the end where you had him up against the cage and then you actually suplexed him and got him into the armbar, how did you even process that much information? Because I didn't even know what the hell was going on.
It's my job. It's my job to do it.
No, I know, but how do you even do that? How do you know what I mean? It was something I'd never seen before.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there it is right there. Beautiful display. Yeah. Like I said, it's just a lot of hard work. I've been doing it since I was 18 years old. And like I told the kids, not the kids, but the ladies and gentlemen who were in MMA class, that practice makes perfect. I've been doing it. And when I trained in mixed martial arts, it was almost kind of like my college university. I was getting my degree in ass kicking, I guess you could say, and I'm able to apply it. So just hard work, training, doing it a lot of times in the gym. Once you master it in the gym, then you can do it anywhere. So that's what it came down to. Thank you. It's a nice leather jacket.
Hi, I'm Justin. I actually go here.
Yeah, I like that. You see that? Justin, he goes here. Perfect. What are you studying in?
Construction engineering.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Question.
So my question was, who's your favorite fighter growing up?
Favorite fighter growing up? Andre Arlovski and Krokop. Heavyweights, I know. Totally two different spectrums. Smallest guy to loving the biggest guys. Andre Arlovski, he had the chest hair, he had long hair, he had the blonde tips, and he had the mouthpiece. And then Krokop, he didn't say much, he just showed up, put his hands up, and he had high kicks, and so those are my two favorite guys. Thank you. Don't be shy to ask a question. Ask anything.
Yo, what up, DJ?
What's up?
Okay, so first of all, obviously I don't go here. I'm an old man. I literally just had surgery yesterday.
Ouch.
I've got my ear cut off and so on. I'm supposed to be in bed resting. I came here to do this.
Ow.
Big lifetime fan. You're one of my favorite fighters of all time. Okay, so the way you dismantled Henry Cejudo, you're predicting a Pettis win, almost. What if Cejudo wins? Does that free up the TJ fight a little sooner?
No, it's whatever the UFC wants to do. That's all it is. Literally, I was telling these guys, I was walking back there, and for me, I don't put all my eggs in a basket and say, this is who I'm going to fight. And the reason why, when I was in high school, I was in wrestling, and I lost a guy named Deshaun Willis. Okay. And the only time I lost to him, take that fucking camera out of my face. The only time I lost to him was he beat me by 1 point.
Okay.
And after I lost that match, I went back to high school and I wrestled, and I was like, I'm going to beat him in the next tournament. And it was a state championship. And I'm on this side of the bracket, he's on this side of the bracket. I'm killing everybody because I was so pissed off that I wanted to fight him so bad, wrestle him so bad. And he gets to the semifinals, I win my match, I'm in the finals. I'm going for first and second place. He's in the semifinals and he loses. We get to the finals and I'm like, here we go, let's go. And it's not him. I was mentally broken, just like that, mentally broken, and I couldn't get past it. And the guy ends up heading on me, starts the match off 5-0, and I'm already down. And then after that, I'm like, I'm never gonna put my eggs in a basket saying that I'm gonna fight this dude. Yeah. And if you look at all my interviews, even though I signed a contract, they're like, oh, you're fighting Ray Borg, how do you feel about it? And I'm like, let's see what happens. And then you have to be. And then even when I fought, now one of the things I do too is, when I was in high school, a senior, I never got scored on, not once. And then eventually I met a guy named Kevin O'Neill. It's kind of weird I remember these names. It's almost sickening. Kevin O'Neill, it is an outside single, takes me down. First time I get taken down the whole entire season. I broke mentally, and I was like, what the end up getting pinned. So now when I fight, I put myself in weird positions. That way in the octagon, I experience it. In the gym before I get in the octagon.
Can you learn a little bit of your relationship with Matt Hume and how that's developed and how he has affected you as a fighter and helped you progress?
Yeah, Matt Hume is awesome. I mean, I've been with him since the very beginning. He's helped me progress by just letting me do my own thing. Ask, like, if I have a question, I'll ask him, right? There's never a stupid question unless the one you don't ask. You know, if you don't know something, ask about it. And then he's always helped me evolve as a martial artist by putting me in weird positions and making me work on different things, and always forcing me to grow, never be content with what I have, I should say.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Another man who doesn't go here. Good for him.
Hi, first, thank you for the class.
You're welcome.
And a bit of a sensitive or controversial question.
Oh, here we go. I love it. Come on, bring it.
So you're a professional athlete, okay? And I've been reading a lot of articles, and I observe it a lot around me that when you're a pro athlete nowadays in the industry, there is some sort of a illegal drug use or steroids.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I thought she was going the Trump route, like. Go on. Yeah, that's
no, and there are a lot of young students that attend the college that I see they're passionate at the gym, and they really give it all, and they aspire to be at your level. Sadly, there's steroid use amongst students of younger age that they shouldn't be. But what's your message to that crowd, I guess?
Don't do it. You're mentally weak. I mean, at the end of the day, people use steroids because they're trying to fill a void in their life, or they're trying to fill a gap. So with that being said, there's something you can't really tell them. They've already went down that path to accept it. The one of the reasons I had never done steroids or any type of drug is that I don't want to rely on something to get me somewhere that I know I can get there without using any drugs, if that makes sense.
But have you knowingly felt components, or I guess people?
No, I mean,
they used it but you didn't, and you felt like there was a disadvantage?
No, because I still beat his ass. So, I mean, when I fought Ali Bagatinov, and I'm fighting him, and I made him in the liver, and I made him in the jaw, and I remember throwing a knee, and I remember his jaw just shifting, and there came a point in time in my mind, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to knee you anymore, because my knees were the size of golf balls after I got out of the fight. And literally, I got out of the octagon, and my follow-on kept looking, he goes, he is on something. He goes, no man can take a beating like that and be able to walk away from it. Sure enough, he popped for EPO. And how I found out, I was playing video games. Errol Wani calls me, he goes, hey, you hear what happened to Ali Bagatinov? I'm like, no, I'm playing video games. Make it quick. He popped for EPO. How does it make you feel? Well, right now I'm trying to beat this last guy, and you're ruining it for me, so I don't care. Goodbye. Boom. If I obviously lost, then yeah, I might feel a little bit different, but that's why USADA's here now. USADA's doing a great job cleaning it up. I mean, there's something you can do about it. People are going to, someone's like bullying. People are going to get bullied. It's just going to happen. People are going to do steroids, and I feel bad for them, because after they get out that cycle, they're going to have some man tits, and it's going to be bad for them.
Yeah, it becomes part of your, I guess, athletic identity. Without it, there's no other identity.
Yeah, pretty much. People who look down the path, they get steroids, and that's the thing, like, people can use steroids to get bigger. Like, no matter how often I lift in the gym, my genetic DNA is not going to change unless I do very strict dieting, calorie intake, and heavy lifting. But if I want the shortcut route, I just go to the gym, lift weights, do a couple things, and that'd be good. But I'd rather take the hard route. That way when I'm done with the hard work, I'll still have some of it left.
Thank you.
Thank you. There you go.
Hi there.
Hi.
So, quick two-part question. One, I would say both as a fighter, in terms of people you fought against, and as a fan, people you've watched, who is the best shins in terms of just the ability to absorb a shot?
To absorb a shot?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Roy Nelson. I mean, that's what I've seen. You get Mark Hunt, but those guys take a lot of shots. I'm worried about their life after they're done fighting with the concussions and CTE. It's not a good thing to be proud of, but it is what it is.
Guys you fought against, though?
That I didn't know he could take a good shot?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Ali Bagatinov, but obviously he had EPO, and you saw him off EPO. He got kicked in the head once, and he got knocked out. Who else I hit really hard? Just him, man. I mean, I hit him hard and a lot. Thank you. You're welcome. Let's see. We'll get him. He was very shy. Come on up. Come on. Come.
Hey. So as a pro athlete who's been so dominant in their sport, do you have any fights that, in your opinion, are your favorite, like a top 3, that you put on a really great dominant performance that you think are, like when you look back, like what are your favorite fights you've been in?
Gotcha. I'll probably say my Kyoji Horiguchi one, because I was super sick that fight. The Wilson Hayes. And I'll say the last one. I like not getting hit, so I think that's always good. You get in a fist fight, you don't get hit. I think it's perfect.
And you said before that you have another secret. It's going to be the mousetrap, right? That'll be your next. I think you labeled your submission of a Rayborg as being the Mighty Armbar.
Oh, the Mighty Wizard, yeah.
Mighty Wizard. So you have another one up your sleeve that you're going to whip out?
The mousetrap. I haven't got anybody in yet. Yeah? They've been dabbling in their cheese, but they haven't got caught yet, so I got to be able to catch them.
But it's coming.
It's coming, dude. That's the thing. When it comes to fighting or my submission game, I don't force anything. I let it happen. I mean, obviously throwing something in the air, you have to force it, but I was put in that right position at the right time to do it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up? Good to see you.
Good to see you again too.
So I don't have kids. One day, hope to do so.
Yep.
And I want to sign them up for a martial art.
Wrestling.
You still say wrestling? 'Cause I'm thinking BJJ as well, like something that I know they won't get a knock to the face right off the bat.
Like I said, the reason why I say wrestling for kids, well, one for kids is just having to be athletic, having to be a kid, having to go outside and play tag and move and move around. They're working that quick change of direction, having to just be a kid, sitting at home playing video games and all that stuff. I did that, but before I got home to do that, I was outside playing kick the can, playing hide and go seek, playing war, playing manhunt. Just being a kid and running around. That's going to be the best thing for them. But if you want to get them in something direct, wrestling, swimming, soccer, gymnastics, I'll go along that route. That way it's not hard on the body and they're having fun with it. And with wrestling, you can always tell a guy who's wrestled his whole life from a kid because one, he has abs, he has traps, and their back is always so big. So I went swimming one day and I was like, he's wrestled, he didn't do anything. And then he's athletic, but you can always tell because when you're a kid and you wrestle, you're pushing your body, you're pushing people, and you're also doing crunches, push-ups as a kid. So wrestling. Thank you.
Hey, are you watching Dragon Ball Super? No, I know. Yeah. But are you watching the subs or the dub ones?
Japanese.
Yeah,
English
so
sub.
Yeah. How would you compare it to?
It's not even better. It's not even on the same fucking planet.
I'm watching the dub ones. Just
don't.
I don't know. Whatever.
Do yourself a favor. Rewatch everything.
With the.
Yeah. If it's Japanese anime, I won't even touch English. I won't even touch English voiceovers. I won't even touch it anymore.
I mean, I'm used to it because of Dragon Ball Z, right?
Yeah.
But how would you compare it to Dragon Ball Z or the other Dragon Ball GT I didn't really like? But
are you talking about like the storyline itself, or are you talking
just
about
everything? Like
I would say Dragon Ball Super it's good. I mean, it's on the same wavelength as Dragon Ball Z, but I will never watch anime in English. I will always watch it in Japanese. Attack on Titan, Berserk. I mean, I'm watching another one, Fate. I'm watching that in Japanese. I just like the Japanese language is so expressive, and I love it.
Thanks.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. 5 minutes. Push for.
Okay.
3 more. We'll do 3 more. He's not in charge either.
All right. First of all, thanks so much for the session in Maxim. That was awesome. And then, so I'm an instructor, and from that standpoint, like knowledge sharing is super important to me. So I kind of wanted to like ask you, because you mentioned that you've trained at like the same gym your whole life. trying to like get better at our craft and stuff, like even in martial arts, like I feel it's a really wasted opportunity to tell the people that you train you're not allowed to go train at other clubs. So I kind of wanted to get your opinion or like your 2 cents on that, because I've experienced it where like I've gone to other clubs and they've kind of told us like, if you're not going to switch from your club and train with us here, we don't want to see you again. And it's kind of like a weird thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I see where you come from. I always think of that as like their business opportunity to take your money. Obviously at a gym, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into play with that. You know, obviously if you're coming to that gym and you're selling content, it's almost like I stream on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll stream on Twitch and say something funny, or that dude who was recording me with his Apple phone, he can take that, and let's say he has like 53,000 people on his YouTube channel, he takes that comment, goes, oh, Demetrious Johnson explains why he's not going to fight Theodosha, posts up, he makes 600,000 views, he makes $200 off that thing. He basically took my content, what I'm putting out there, and made a gain off it. So they can see that as that aspect, that you're another instructor, you're coming to my gym, taking content and go back to there, or they can look at that, you know, if you're going to be here, we want you part of the team, we want you to become one of us, not just coming here and get what you need and leaving. Or, you know, if you went there and paid your dues and you train here and you train there, they shouldn't have anything to say. But if I'm paying for the service you're providing, I'm taking that service because I paid for it, and I'm going to go do it over here. Now, if you have a problem with that, then you need to disclose that when I sign up. So that's what I would say.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Look at this guy. He's tough.
So Thanksgiving tomorrow, any plans? You going to do the whole stuffing and everything? Or
I'm not a big Thanksgiving. No.
Really?
Turkey's dry. Stuffing's disgusting. So probably just the cranberry sauce, and that's about it. But other than that, nothing.
I got one quick little question too. So I grew up in the U.S. too. Do you notice, like, do you speak at high schools? Because I noticed, like, when I went to high school, like, wrestling was kind of like dying out for like the school sport, and like you have like a lot of like private organizations like in the town or city that kind of carry the wrestlers or the taekwondo fighters or jiu-jitsu or whatever else. But I found like the school itself, like wrestling was like dying out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think wrestling itself, like the collegiate style, it is dying out. Probably because, you know, one, mixed martial arts, two, there's no money in it, and when you get to such that high level wrestling, it can get kind of boring, believe it or not, and that's why I think it's kind of dying out. Even in Washington State, there's no colleges that still offer it. There's clubs, but not really. And I think, you know, people are trying to save it, but I just don't think it can be saved. But who knows?
Yeah. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. One more question. The man with the beard.
Hey, how's it going? Got the beard, by the way.
Thank you.
Just wondering, congrats on getting the record. Must feel awesome. What's your next goal you're trying to attain, and do you plan on fighting TJ Dillashaw if he comes down to 125?
Yeah. Well, obviously my next goal that I'm trying to attain is probably retire one day. That's the biggest one. That's the biggest goal. And honestly, just keep on building my brain outside of mixed martial arts. Like a lot of these fighters, they make that their identity. And I don't want that to be my identity. Like when I'm done from fighting, I don't want to have to like, man, I miss fighting. And I see some of the guys like, man, I miss the lights. I miss walking out. I can care less. I just want to be able to take care of my family. And if that fight doesn't arise, like I said, we have to go through so many things where it's going to be 135, 125, 130. So many stuff that goes into play. Is the money right? I mean, this is one of the always tell people, I'm like, if you were a reporter and you report on the news in your local town of Ottawa, and you make $100,000, and next thing you know, your boss comes in and goes, guess what? We got big news for you. We want you to report the news over in Syria, covering all the ISIS activity. We're covering all of it.
Need more money.
And you're like, absolutely, let's make it happen. And then you're like, so what's the healthcare stuff looking like? What's my life insurance look like? What's the more money looking like? He's like, believe it or not, Billy, $85,000. You're like, you take a step back, you're like, what the? What? I was doing the local stuff for $100K, had good life insurance, good health insurance benefits, and now you want me to go to the not saying that's a good analogy I like to use, but at the same time, it's almost like Conor McGregor. He's one of my inspiration when it comes to dealing with business, because when it comes to him, he was like, you guys think I just made $1 million because I asked for it? No. How many times have they tried to make Conor McGregor do a fight? You know what he says? No. You guys don't hear about it because I'll destroy his brand. But if you guys heard that Nate Diaz turns out multiple fights, what would you guys think?
Well, obviously we want our fighters.
You guys want your fighters
to want to fight.
Yeah, but if I told you, I was like,
exciting matchups.
we were like, man, Nate Diaz got offered a fight. You know what he said? He said, no, he's not thug life. He's not a gangster. You know how bad that would destroy his brand and his image?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
I
So
think you should really get paid for that fight.
No, yeah.
The biggest fight in your career.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, there's so much stuff that goes on behind scenes
for sure
that you guys have no idea. To where you'd be shocked how people turn down fights, and then somebody goes on Twitter, oh, he turned down this fight because blah 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 blah, and it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Just if he doesn't want to fight because he make enough money, so be it. Have the UFC pay more, but the money's right. I promise you guys, it's gonna happen. We can tell you guys that.
Can't wait.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
So guys.